Hi guys, how are you? And welcome to the Holistic Mompreneur Academy. This is our first ever meeting, and I want to thank you guys, all of my founding members, for joining this week and just being a part of building my community that I plan to build for the next decade and years beyond as we grow as parents, mothers, entrepreneurs, teachers, everything that we are. Okay. So I know that a lot of you guys, um, did not make it to this first meeting, but that's okay. All of the meetings that we do have for the Holistic Mom Academy will be recorded and they'll be posted in the school website within our community on that general discussion board. So you don't have to worry about making every single live meeting that I do schedule. Try to get to some, especially if you have a lot of questions starting out and how this is all going to work. Definitely try to join, but just know that you don't always have to and that they will be recorded and posted in our group. Okay. So I had such an amazing time reading all of your welcome posts and just reading about who you are and your mom journey and what you expect to see from the group and what you were struggling with as a mom and what you needed help with. I really enjoyed reading that, and I spent the whole week just figuring out how to make this a good, safe learning and educational environment for all of us and to grow together. But I am going to start out telling you guys a bit about myself and my journey and how I got here to creating the Holistic Mompreneur Academy. Okay, so first, I think most of you guys probably follow my Instagram or had come across a post on Instagram, and that is how you are here, right? So I am a 13-year raw vegan, and I started my journey at 21 years old before I even thought about having children. And I never thought within my journey that me becoming raw or me becoming more plant-based would have such an effect on my motherhood journey as well. And as I became a mother after I was 5 years raw, and I'll tell you guys that story in a little bit here. I'll rewind and tell you guys that story. Um, I didn't think it would intertwine as much, but as soon as I had my first daughter, it really started to just kind of intertwine. And as she grew and, was eating plant-based and became an athlete and just started to grow and thrive, those two worlds just kind of intertwined and became a really cool little space for um, me to kind of show the world that yes, you can thrive on plant-based. Yes, your children can thrive on plant-based. And yes, you can homeschool and stay at home and be a mom and make money and thrive as a holistic mom and entrepreneur, because us as holistic parents, holistic moms, we want to be with our children. We want to know how to make that side income so we're not spending so much time away from our children, right? So that is really how this community that I'm building, I'm literally just starting it. That's how it has started. Because a lot of my raw food community are also moms, and I would get so many questions on like my homeschooling journey or vaccinations, or do you do well visits, or do you take the sugar drink when you're pregnant at 20 weeks when they're taking the blood test, or what do you do? So I get all those questions, and I just thought this was to make a space for holistic moms who are naturally minded who wanted to incorporate that nutrition into their motherhood journey. Okay. But I will go back and tell you guys how I even started my raw journey because I wasn't always holistic minded. I wasn't always natural minded at all. I was actually opposite. I grew up on a standard American diet. Um, since I was born, really. My mom is an American from New York, and my dad is a Chinese Jamaican. So I grew up eating, standard American things, Jamaican food that, we all know. Um, Chinese food. My grandmother was a Chinese Jamaican, so we would eat a lot of pork, and it just wasn't the healthiest diet growing up. So by the time I was 21, I had weighed 253 pounds. I had back pain. I was diagnosed with diabetes, and I really just was sick at 21 years old. And one day my sister came home and she was like, "Oh, well, I'm engaged and I'm gonna get married." And we were all excited, but my first instinct was like, no, I don't really want to I don't want to be overweight and be in the wing and all of that stuff like this. So I was like, okay, well, I really need to lose some weight. So I went to the doctor to see everything that was going on. And excuse my dirty sweatshirt. I had my little toddler on my her sticky hands on my shirt. So I'm sure you guys know. But so I went to the doctor and they were like, okay, well, yes, you're obese. Not only are you obese, but you're diabetic. You're on the borderline of prediabetes um, and diabetes, and you're really sick. So he has sent me home with a prescription for phentermine, which was a weight loss drug back in 2012, and it was just like counter calories, and it just didn't seem right to me. For something in me that just clicked and was like, this isn't right. Like, don't take these pills. I don't know where this kind of enlightenment came from somewhere deep down inside me, but it was just like, no, don't do it. At the time, I was in college and I was working at a library, and I had basically started doing some research on different diets and excuse me, different diets and things that I could do to to lose weight. That's what it was at first. I just wanted to lose weight. So I came across vegetarianism and I read about it and I was just like, okay, but nothing really I didn't do. And then I came across veganism and I was like, oh, this, okay, this makes a lot of sense. I was actually pretty against veganism as a teenager. And I was just like, okay, well, actually now in your early 20s, it's actually starting to make a little sense. So I still just kept doing my research. And then I came across something called raw veganism. And and I was like, okay, this is actually pretty amazing. And it resonated with me so much. And I just remember thinking to myself, not only are you going to eat all of these, God-made fruit and vegetables and nature-made food, but you're going to eat it in its natural state that nature has already cooked it in, and it's already been perfectly made from the sun and the water and the soil. So you're going to eat it just like that and not alter it at all. You're going to be getting all of the vitamins, minerals, nutrition, everything from that fruit. So I decided on April 1st, 2012 to go raw for 30 days. And that was my beginning of my journey. Um, but when I was 27 days in, it was it. And I was just like, okay, you this is what you're doing. Like I felt so good by day 27. I was like, oh, this is it. So since then, I have been high raw plant-based since for the last 13 years. And like I had said before, I had my first daughter, going into my motherhood story 5 years later or 6 years later. My first daughter, Layla, was born in December of 2016. So she's 8.5 now, and she was born in 2016. So I was already 5 years into raw, and I had already changed my mindset so much into holistic minded things that I already known as soon as I was pregnant, like I was going to have a raw vegan pregnancy, that I was going to not have her vaccinated if I didn't want to. I was going to have a natural birth. I wasn't going to use an epidural. All of those things that I had researched prior to. I'm always so thankful that I did going forward. I hear so many horror stories, and um, fast forward to having Olivia 6 years later, there was a 6 year gap between them. I was already really well versed in natural motherhood and natural pregnancy, breastfeeding, all of the things. So um, now I wanted to create this space. Basically, like I wanted to, as a mom that's, kind of has a platform. And I have spent the last decade just studying and researching and learning and taking my courses, reading the vaccine inserts, learning how to heal everything from a bug bite to an ear infection and all of those things. That's what I want to share. But I don't just want to share that. I want to share how I'm able to homeschool as well, how I'm able to stay at home and make some money from home and bring an income in and stay and homeschool, because I always have those questions like, well, how are you able to afford it? How can you not send your child to school and go to work? And I wanted to include that in there as well, because I can preach all day every day that yes, homeschooling is best and that's how they're going to thrive, and babies need their mothers and all of the things. But if the everyday mom, like how we are everyday moms, if we can't afford how to do it, then it doesn't make sense. It's not accessible. And I really just wanted to make it accessible and teach what I've learned, like I said, throughout the last 13 years to you guys. And I also want all of the moms to come in here and share their knowledge and their experiences as well, because we'll all learn from each other. And us 10 now, we have 10 of us for our first week. This was my founding members special week. So you guys are the founding members. You guys are going to be the foundation of what I build for the next decade, 2 decades, 3 decades. I really want to build this space into something very special. So you guys are my foundation, and I really, truly appreciate you guys coming into this space and helping me create and build this. Okay. Okay. But I did read through all of your motherhood journeys and what you guys are going through. And we can continue talking on the post about it because I didn't have anyone come in here live today, which I'm sure that will grow. But when we do have these live meetings, when you guys are here, we'll use the chat box and we'll talk back and forth every every Wednesday like this. And we'll just kind of chat and catch up with each other and talk about everything from, oh, it was a stressful day, or I can't get little Johnny to eat his avocados, or little Mary's been being picky about her smoothies, or or the dentist told me that my kid has a tongue tie. All of the things that we are going to discuss on our weekly Wednesday meetings. Okay. But that is my vision. My vision is just to create that supportive community where we can learn, share, grow all together. And my focus is going to be, like I said, everything momhood, from natural pregnancy, breastfeeding, raw vegan nutrition for yourself, for your kids, for your husband, not parenting, how to homeschool and how to homeschool effectively, where to get your curriculums, what's the best curriculum? Do you have to sit down 5 days out of the week, all of those things. And lastly, like I said, entrepreneurship and how building this community is going to help all of us. Okay, so we're going to talk about all of that, and that is my vision for the community. But while I am here and I'm on live, I do want to go back over to the group, and I do want to answer some of the questions that I did see because I am going to post this in the group. So I do want to answer some questions while I'm here. So I saw Raquel Moss. She's one of our founding members, and she posted, she was like, "Hi, Ashley, what kind of help did you give previous parents? I'm just so lost and I don't know what to ask or how should I?" Okay, so my first question to you, Raquel, and you can answer this at the next meeting or in one of the tabs that I have. And we'll talk about those tabs and courses that I'll be adding later, but you can always answer this. But first, I would ask, how old is your child? What is their current diet like? What is your current diet like? Are they suffering from any illnesses? Are they, or do they have eczema? How is your birth with them? All of those things that I would ask you, and you can always respond to me, like I said, in the thread. But my tips to you is just start incorporating. A lot of moms will just try and go full-fledged, like overnight, like, hey, Johnny, you're gonna eat like these apples and avocados and pineapples, and that's it, and take away all of their things. But no, what you're gonna want to do is just kind of just really incorporate, let them watch you do it, let them help you do it. Get a fruit cart, and I'll show you guys my fruit cart next week when I have you guys on. But have that fruit cart out and let that seasonal ripe fruit be in there for them so they can always see it. They will see it ripening. They will smell it. All of their senses will get enticed by it and they will eventually try it. At first, they might not. My older daughter wasn't picky at all with her food. Olivia, my second daughter, my toddler, she's a little more picky. So I have to introduce things to her more than once. So you're not going to be like the type of mom, Raquel, to just say like, hey, little Johnny, I'm not sure your kid's name or whatever yet, but little Johnny doesn't like avocados, so we're never going to give him avocados again. He said he don't like it. You keep putting on the plate, you keep introducing it, and eventually they will try it, and eventually they will get so used to seeing it, and their brains will start to recognize it as food. Our brains and our children's brain recognize what we see and what we're always fed as food. That's why Jamaicans love ackee and saltfish, and that's why they love plantains, and that's why Americans in the South, they love their fried chicken, and that's why Japanese love their sushi. It's just something that they've always grown up seeing as food. So you as a parent you have the control of creating that for your child when they're starting solids. Like what you give them is what they're going to see as food. So if you're just giving them macaroni and cheese and chicken nuggets, they're going to, register in their brain like this is food. So you always have to keep introducing those fruits and vegetables. And I will add that make sure that the fruit and vegetables that you do introduce are very, very ripe and are in season because you don't want um, kids that are picky or really just love having the same taste and texture all the time. Like, let's just say they have a bag of goldfish, and anytime they reach into that goldfish tastes the same every single time. They know exactly what to expect. They know how it's going to taste. They know how the texture is going to be. That's what you're going to try to provide with the fruit and vegetables while they're young. You're going to want to provide, oh, this mango is going to be sweet. It's going to be juicy every single time. You don't want to introduce an unripe, very sour mango to them. They're going to look at that and be like, no, I don't like that taste. I don't like that texture. So you're always going to want to try your best to give them the best tasting food that you can. Okay. But Raquel, definitely in the thread, and I'm going to create, and I'll talk to you guys about this later, different spaces to respond to these if you don't show up. But respond and let me know what's going on. Let me, answer all those questions I had just said before, and we will talk about it and we will get you to a space where you and your children are thriving. It may take us, a month, it may take us 6 months, but if you come here and in this group and you show up, ask questions, come to these meetings, we can get you in that space. Okay. Let's see, did anyone post? Okay. I know we have Zanelle. She said she is a mom to a 13-year-old boy and a 4-year-old girl. She's the only vegan in the household, and I don't know how to inspire them to be vegan. I we are just a family of four, me, my husband, and the kids. I'm fairly new to this lifestyle and happy to be here. Oh, I'm so happy to have you, Zanelle, and I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. But yeah, so you have a 4-year-old and a 13-year-old boy. So the 13-year-old boy is going to be a little different, where you're just going to have to just, you know, let them explore on their own and you just kind of lead by example. I wouldn't really force it on him. I would have a lot of options in the house though. Like I said, that fruit cart that I was talking to Raquel about, I would definitely have like a little fruit cart, a space where a lot of fruit was ripening and he doesn't have to, teenage boys, they're kind of lazy. You can just, grab some grapes, grab some peaches, and just have that available to them all the time. Same thing with your 4-year-old, she's at the age where she can just kind of grab and eat as well. And I wouldn't really force, like I said, too much. Don't hide any vegetables in their food because it's good for them to see it. Like I was telling Raquel, what they see as food, they will eat as food. So it's good for them to see it. So let your 4-year-old participate in helping you make salads. Frozen sorbets are really good for her age. And just slowly kind of wean out the processed food. I wouldn't even say the meat and dairy just yet, unless they're there. But really, what's more important than the meat and dairy is the processed stuff. So you're going to want to take away, like I said, like the pretzels, the chips, like any of the frozen meat, any of like the frozen like French fries and things like that. But anything that's like ultra processed, you're going to slowly, slowly, slowly remove. But like I said, we're going to learn from each other. We're going to grow together, and we will have a blast. So once you listen to this video, let me know how it goes. You said you've been vegan for 2 months and you've been using my books. That is amazing. I can't wait to grow and, see how we go forward. Roll into fruit. Okay. We talked about Raquel. Ashlyn. Hi, Ashlyn. She says, I'm not a mother, but one day you would like to be. That's amazing how you're preparing. And it's so funny. When I read your comments last week about it, I was in the same position that you were. I didn't have kids yet, but there was a similar mom group that I was in excuse the thunder in my background, that I was in before I had children. And I had learned so much before I got pregnant. I was so grateful that I had joined that group. And I knew, like, no, I didn't want an epidural. I knew that I to do everything I could to not have a C-section. I had already done all that research. So it's really amazing that you're here. And it's amazing that you've been raw vegan for 5 years. That's an amazing thing. And you should definitely be super proud of that. And you said you've healed chronic fatigue, brain fog. I'm super proud of you. And I'm so happy that you're here to be able um, to help guide other moms. Because like I said, we're gonna grow together. Jasmine says, I'm a mother of a 2.5-year-old toddler, so a little bit older than Livy. We began raising my child mostly vegan when she was born, but a year ago she was diagnosed with alopecia. Nebraska Unizine is rolling encourage incorporated meats, which my child doesn't like much. My daughter has been in daycare since August, and I had to go into work, but her last days next round reflects on nutrition homeschooling. Oh, that is amazing. So you definitely need to be here, Jasmine. As I read your comment in our welcome thread. Um, I'm so sorry about, your daughter's diagnosis, but knowing that you as a mom are doing everything you can by trying to stay home with her and homeschool her and focus on her nutrition, that is what's best. And even if you did introduce the meats and dairy, this is not a strict raw vegan kids group. So it's more about just incorporating and how to get your kids to incorporate. So even if we can get her to incorporate more fruit, more vegetables, and making sure everything that she gets is very nutrient dense, then then she will thrive. And we as a team and as our group, we will help you and your daughter move forward. Okay. Hi, Priscilla. I'm a proud mother of three, currently breastfeeding my 2-month-old daughter. Oh my gosh, congratulations on the squish. Okay, you are eager to gain journey on exclusive breastfeeding, learn how to exclusively breastfeed my daughter while maintaining a healthy diet and putting on foods. That is amazing, and we're going to talk a lot about that. I'm actually going to have a course in this group on that. Postpartum weight loss, discovering effective ways to shed postpartum weight loss and regain my confidence. Yes, that is going to be a biggie, and we're going to get in here on Wednesdays and talk all about that and all of our experiences, because I'm sure all of us moms have a little bit of a different experience and different tips to kind of help go through that, because everyone kind of goes through that postpartum kind of fog, and it's sometimes kind of hard to get out. And we're all going to be here for you, and I'll definitely tell you my tips and things. Self-employment, yes. So the mompreneur part, we're definitely going to talk about that and how to grow your own business and holistic business and online, and so you're able to work and then have your child next to you homeschooling, or have your child breastfeeding while you are also making money. And I did set up, I'll talk more about this, like where in this group that you guys can actually make a side income as well with our little mom group as well. And I'll get into that in a little bit. But like I said, guys, anytime you have any questions, I'm always here. Like this website is always up on my laptop, on my computer, and on my phone. So I'm here. And that's what I really, really wanted. I wanted this to be like a community that you can have an ongoing, knowledge group community. Okay. Okay. Um, so I do want to talk about what I plan to kind of have. Like I said, I talked about the space and what I wanted, the space to encompass, but I also wanted to tell you that we are going to have these regular lives. We are going to have these regular Q&As every single week. Every Wednesday, we're going to be on here. And like I said, if you can't get on, it's fine. I am going to have workshops for different things. So we'll have different webinars, and these are all going to be included in your membership. You're not going to have to pay for anything else. We'll have workshops on homeschooling. We'll have different webinars on breastfeeding, different webinars on raw food, different webinars on, just, recipes and how to make different things for kids. So we'll have all of those, and they'll be always on that calendar in the school, on the school.com, in our community, our calendar. So I'll always schedule our webinars on there. Okay. I do plan to have some guest speakers that are, kind of big on Instagram, and I'm sure a lot of you guys know. Some moms that are kind of big in homeschooling. I have some mom entrepreneurs that I'm going to bring in here, and we're going to do some Q&As with them as well. I also plan to do some group challenges. So like we're going to take all the kids and we're going to do some homeschooling challenges, like some nutrition challenges. Like, well, hey, we're going to make sure all of our kids have fruit every day for breakfast. So we're going to make sure all of our kids are, excited to do like their math. We're going to have all these different challenges, and we'll have mom challenges too, like, 30 days to set up your business, and how to get your first clients and all of the things. So we'll have those challenges as well. And we'll just have courses on every single topic, and I'll show you guys. And I don't know if you guys went over to that tab. I'm not sure if you guys can see it, but in our classroom tab, I will have different courses, and I'm working on the courses now. And these are all these courses will be included in your membership, and you'll have access to them forever. As a founding member, your price won't go up ever, and you will always be, like I said, my foundation. Okay. So the courses that I'm working on right now are your guide to raising healthy children, holistic lifestyle and parenting, mindset mastery for holistic moms, income strategies, building holistic business, raw vegan pregnancy, plant-based pregnancy, homeschooling. All of these things are going to be different courses that you'll have access to. And when those when those subjects pertain to you, like let's just say that you are a breastfeeding and pregnant mom, but homeschooling doesn't pertain to you yet, and it will in 3 years, you'll always have access to the homeschooling course no matter what. Okay. So those will be starting to be available coming next week, but and you can always take those courses at your own pace because, like I said, it's included in your membership and it'll always, always be there for you. Okay. Um, let's see. Like I said, all that's including your membership. I will say that lastly, I wanted to make this group very beneficial to everyone. You know, I know that you guys are paying a subscription to be here, and I really wanted to make it to make it like beneficial. And it is a mompreneur group. So yes, we you do have to make money so you can afford to feed your kids the best organic food and so you can afford to stay home with your kids. So I did set up an affiliate account for our mom group. So the more each mom that you bring in, you will get as a founding member 30% of their subscription every single month. And I wanted to give that only to you 10, the founding members. Everyone else that comes in will have a 10% affiliate um, commission, but you guys will have, if you guys want to participate in this, is not mandatory by any means, but it's just a different way or an avenue that you guys can make money. You can just like, hey, like this is a mom group and we're all learning from it and you should join. And, this is our, they look at it in the subscription fee, and you guys will always get 30% of that every month as you move forward. If you want to participate in that, like I said, it's not mandatory by any means to be in the group, but it's just a different way, a different avenue that I wanted to give to you moms to make an income as well. Okay. But other than that, it's been an amazing launch so far, and I've been having so much fun building, like I said, because it's super brand new. It's super brand new. And like I said, I plan to build this over the next, decade or two and make this into a group of thousands and thousands of moms. And you guys are going to be my founding members, and you guys are going to be the foundation. And at the end of it, we're all going to learn from each other. We're all going to grow in every single way. We're going to grow mentally. We're going to grow physically. We're going to grow financially, everything. Okay. Um, so next steps, I want you guys to stay active in our group. There's just 10 of us right now, but like I said, we're going to have these every Wednesday. Come next Wednesday and come and chit chat with me. But other than that, from now until next Wednesday, just stay in the group, in that main discussion group. And if you click under the community tab, you will see that I have different tabs for different topics. So I have general discussion. If you just want to talk about something random, like how your day went, that's general discussion. I have a pregnancy and breastfeeding tab. If it's something about those lines of that, post under that tab. So just to keep all the questions organized for new moms coming in, they can kind of go back and look through the tabs and different questions. So I have a raw food recipes. Like if you just want to like, hey, like I need a recipe for my 4-year-old and I don't know what she'll eat, but I know that she needs some fat and I know that she needs to eat, post under raw food recipes and post your question there and I will respond there. Okay. But other than that, we have another live next week this time, and it'll be in a similar format as this. I may have a guest speaker for us by this time next week. And if you guys are wanting to join the affiliate program and start making some extra income off of this platform, let me know. I'm going to have a tab in our classroom just for Holistic Mom Academy affiliates. Okay. And we'll talk about how to grow that and how to grow that income as well. Okay. But other than that, you guys have a great rest of your evening. And like I said, I am super excited to have you guys on board as my founding members. And we are going to create a great space and a great group.